Okay, guys. So um, I hope you enjoyed the stuff I did on Monday. We did a lot of breath work on Monday, and we're going to continue with it in a different way. Okay. Now, at the end of last class, I showed you towards the end of it, I showed you some ideas of breath holds with movement, and then also breathing with stillness, and this kind of play on how to use breathing. So once you get past a level, so we're talking, I'm not saying once you get past the very basic level, so you learn how to breathe in, you learn how to breathe out, and you learn what's called uh, escalated breathing. So escalated breathing would be one in, one out, two in, two out, three in, three out. Like once you play with that enough and you feel comfortable, then you start really playing with breathing as it relates, because remember, everything has to be applied to real life. So I'm not talking fighting. Fighting is one part of real life, but we're talking. So I appreciate breathing, but when I live my life, obviously different stresses and different things happen that affect my breathing. I can't change that. I'm not that good yet where I can just zone out everything. And I think most of us are in that similar place, right? So we need to know how to work with distractions and all this other stuff. So what I'm going to show you today is very applicable to, I guess, real life as it happens. So as your day goes on and it's kind of chaotic, this will help you. Okay. Now, if I can give you a few analogies, when I used to play sports, I'll give you an example, rugby. Okay. We would practice every day of the week. Monday to Friday, we practice. And on Saturday, we had a game, Saturday or Sunday. Now, all week long, there was structure in the practice. Pass the ball like this, kick the ball like this. This is how we're going to work our plays. But then come Saturday, the game went to shit. The whole thing, because the other team has something other in mind for you, right? They don't want you to have a good game. They want you to have a bad game. So, and we didn't go to practice on Monday and say, oh, what the hell, the coach doesn't know what they're talking about. It's how close can we take practice and make it like the real game, right? Not the aggressiveness, but the unpredictability. Okay. You can never practice for the aggressiveness of fighting, guys. It's such a different animal. But what you can protect is what you can prepare for is being adaptable and being able to be super creative. Okay, so the best coach I ever had in rugby, in practice, never let us throw a perfect pass or do a perfect kick ever. He said, in practice, I want you to throw the ball ahead, behind, below. I want you to get the person ready for less than ideal things. Does that make sense, guys? And Systema is the exact same thing. We never want to practice perfect wrestling or perfect thing. We want to practice things. So when I'm wrestling, I'll hold my breath. When I'm wrestling, I'll use one arm. When I'm wrestling, I'll just use my legs. When I'm wrestling, I'll have two people on top of me. This way, I'm practicing for the ugly and unpredictable nature of those elements. I'm not getting madder. I'm getting more adaptive. And this kind of training I'm going to show you today will help you adapt your breathing as things change. Does that make sense, guys? So we're going to play with a couple of factors. Okay, we're going to play with a couple of factors. Now, I did one mistake. Yesterday, I wanted to practice what I was going to show you guys, and I practiced it really good, so much so I can barely move. I'm so sore right now. I did it too much. I swear. This part of my body is just like, so I can't do it with you today, but I promise you I did it yesterday and killed myself. Okay. So I got too happy to what I wanted to show you, and I got too involved. But I will be there in spirit with you, I promise. Okay. So first thing you're gonna do, stand up. Stand up. Everybody stand up. Okay. Lindsay, hi, good to see you. Everybody stand up. Okay. So you have two options now. I'm going to give you options. So you're always going to play with the options. So first option is standing still like this, and I'm talking really still. Don't do anything else. I see you, Eric, stretching. Don't do anything. Stay still, not even a wobble, as still as you possibly can. Okay. I mean, without, making yourself anxious. Stay still and breathe. Okay. Just breathe. So you can breathe when you're standing still. Okay. And just do that for a bit. Like just try, see how hard it is to stay still. It's really hard. And believe me, guys, if it's there's a difference between still and moving an inch. There's a huge, try to stay still. Obviously you're gonna float. It's called a float, not move. So there's a small float in your body, and this is your heart pumping, this is your lungs, like this is this stuff going on, but there's no physical movement. It's just the movement of your organs and your heart and those kind of things, like doing their thing, is gonna sway you a little bit. It's called a sway. Really, like small move. Okay. So that's one thing. Okay. And I would recommend you do this with a timer at the beginning, but not today, but I'll be your timer today. You try to do that for a minute. That's a long time to hold still. Okay. And then the other point is, whenever this gets tiring, is you're going to start to move. Doesn't matter how, but from standing for now, just move from standing. You're going to move in any direction, in any way, but you got to hold your breath. And this is important, guys, so make sure you're hearing this. Do not hold your breath till you panic. I need you to hold your breath until as comfortable as you can. And then when you can't, you're going to stop still and breathe. This is important. Don't teach yourself to hold your breath till you panic. Teach yourself to hold your breath as long as you can comfortably. So your variables are now: stay still and breathe. Once you feel good and ready, I want you to walk in any direction, holding your breath without panic. The moment you feel a little bit of panic coming, stop and breathe. Okay, go. Whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready. And this is important as a practice, because you're starting to take breathing to the next level. You're starting to incorporate it into what happens when we start to train. When we train, it happens that we hold our breath when we move sometimes. So we have to start building those attributes, okay? And the breathing is nice, it's smooth. You can do this almost anywhere, guys. Nobody will know you're doing this. On the bus, at work, at home, no one will know the wiser. Yeah, you can move backwards, forwards, left, and right. Awesome, guys. Okay, come close. Come close now. So it's good, guys. It's good. I'm I don't like just sitting back and watching you because I want to help you so much. But at the end of the day, this is something you got to do a lot of to figure out. Now, can I make it a little bit harder? Because I see lots of you are absorbing it pretty good. So I want you to try the same thing now, but with your eyes closed. Now, you don't have to worry because you're at home now, right? So go slowly. Any movement is fine. Any stepping is fine. It doesn't have to be fast. So you're going to hold when you're standing still and you're breathing, your eyes are closed. And then when you're holding your breath and walking, your eyes are always closed. And what I find is you're going to feel the sway a little bit more, and it'll come to the big problem that we have that I see in our society. We're too visual. So for all of you watching, guys, if you really, I like training with multiple components, and I find that one common problem we have in our society and even in Systema is we're too visual. So anytime you can close your eyes and just get a feeling or get or work with your inner side, please do it. Okay. And I look around the screen now, and everybody's super dedicated in this. So let's try push it. So do the same thing, but with your eyes closed now. Okay. And see the value is not doing this exercise that I told you, is see if you notice a difference. Please see if you because for me, when my eyes are closed, everything goes deeper. Everything goes deeper. No matter what I do, eat my food, listen to my music, anything that I do, except for driving, anything that I do has a benefit. We have to make sure. I don't want you guys to run out and try this, okay? But um, if you could, if you could find a straightaway, like in a farm, and drive with your eyes closed, your driving would improve. But that's on a farm and not on my street. All right, ready? So stand up, close your eyes, and you are going to for sure feel what I call a float. And a float is your body inside moving. And this is so important for you to know, guys. Don't ever hold this back. You trying to hold your float back only cause you anxiety. It only causes you anxiety. It's equivalent to telling yourself what not to do. Don't do that. That causes anxiety. Just tell yourself what you want. Don't tell yourself what not to. So this is the same. So stay still, but allow yourself to float, which is your organs moving, and then walk and hold your breath with your eyes closed. Awesome, guys. Good. Okay, come around. Unmute yourself if you want. How did that feel? How did you see that? Did it come across? How did it come? Eyes open, eyes closed. Which you felt was got you a little more feel?
Feel tension in like every part of my body times 10. Really interesting.
Anybody anybody else? Was it, could you see yourself growing with this? Could you see yourself doing this and progressing, guys? So I'll give you an analogy. I hate telling you what because maybe you can discover something deeper, but when I did this, all this is a metaphor. In life, I need to be able to understand myself and I need to understand the world. I need to understand other people, but I need to know myself. So it's like whenever you go into a meeting of sorts, okay, there is your interest and then there's my interest, right? And some people either they focus completely on the other person, they forget about themselves. This is no good. And then other people think just of themselves, they don't care about other people. This is no good. Okay. The reason I got to where I was, guys, because I always understood the other person, but I knew myself well. Like you have to know yourself well and what you can live with. And as a fighter, the most important thing, because what stopped me from doing stupid things, well, I did some, but I'll tell you about them over a drink. But, but what helped me stay the course was I always knew the reason I was going to fight. If it wasn't a good reason, I would not do it. I had that. Are you going to have the same barometer? Because people will always egg you on. Are you able to say, this is not enough reason for me? Like you should know the reason you act. Is there a purpose for this? Right? What is the reason? And if it means something to you, please go do it. Please go do this. Otherwise, don't do it. Right. So when I close my eyes, it's like I'm thinking of myself, which is good. And then when I open my eyes, I think about other people. This is good too. So I play with these things. Okay. I play with these variables all the time. Don't look at it as how to become a better fighter. Understand how to make sure you think of yourself and how to make sure you think of other people. Those both are important, not one or the other. You need to be somewhere, right? Think of yourself like if you go to court, if anybody's ever gone to court, a judge, he doesn't believe either person. This guy's saying something, this guy's saying, they're both lying. He is trying to find the truth, right? So he's in the middle. You need to find the truth because you're lying to yourself and the other person is lying to you. So you need to find the middle ground of what is really the problem, okay? That what's really at the heart of it. So please think of it like that when you close your eyes. Now, because of space, I normally have people do this drill running around because with speed it changes a little bit. We're not going to do it today because we don't have enough space. But does everybody have enough room on the ground there? If you can work on a little space, okay, this is good too. So we're going to try the same thing. So sit down on the ground, just sit on your bum. Yeah, just sit on your bum, right? Let me just mute everybody. Okay, good. Just sit on, and it should be comfortable, okay? You should feel comfortable, right? Don't pick on color. And again, you're in this position, you're breathing, your everything is perfect, okay? You can keep your eyes open, you keep your eyes closed. It's your choice, okay? Whatever you decide, you know now what I mean by it, right? So you can pick your decision. So stay still. And whenever you feel good, start to move on the ground and hold your breath. And the moment you can't hold it anymore without a panic, I want you to come back to this position that you feel comfortable, okay? So try this for 1 minute now from a seated position. It's different than walking. Walking is one thing, moving on the ground is another. So whenever you feel good, just move on the ground a little bit. Yeah, depending on your space, roll, twist, turn, you can crawl, you know, it's your way how you feel. Keep going, guys. Looks great. Keep going. Looks good. Awesome, guys. Good. Good. Come around. So, uh, small things that I noticed from standing and from thing. Whenever when I said walk and hold your breath, you saw that there was a difference. You need to walk or move as if you were breathing, even though you're not. It's like as if you are, though, right? So you train yourself to, when you hold your breath, to, nobody should know about this. Nobody. And when you stay still, you should be like you can move. So it's like you really have to capture these. You guys are moving on the ground like people holding their breath. Don't try not to move on the ground like that. I know it's going to take some time, but it's going to. Did anybody feel that I took away one small variable and you weren't happy? Right? It's like a kid. I told you there was no dessert and you didn't enjoy the food you had as much because there's nothing at the end. Small observation. Which did you like better, standing or on the ground? Which one? Standing
I like
up?
the
Standing. I
groundwork.
like standing better.
Did you? Okay. So whichever one you like, do the opposite one. Okay. I'm not gonna say now, but it's just the way, like, guys, it's like you don't hate it. It's like a subconscious reason. Who knows? Like some people scared of falling, right? Usually a professional, like, because I train some pretty executive people, okay? And when I tell them to go on the ground, these are like, $4,000 suits, custom made. When you tell them to go on the ground, they feel like they're juvenile. They feel like they might be seen as the wrong way, not because they didn't like it, but I don't know why. Other people, I don't like the ground because I fell, right? And there's a reason behind a lot of things. So you want to always kind of play with this, because in theory, the ground is playful. Like that's where we kind of play. And I go to the ground when I want to feel younger. That's it. You can't tell, but I'm really 5 years old inside, not 50. So, Tom, and believe me, we have somebody online here. Tom is a perfect example. He moves on the ground like I've seen so much improvement. Eddie, you always had it. You move on the ground like a kid every time. That's why you look so young. Guys, Eddie's 90. No, I'm joking. You moves. When first time I saw you move, I couldn't believe you're your age. I'm really surprised. You're very young at heart. So you have to play with this. If you're feeling old, move on the ground, right? If you're feeling too childish, stand up and walk a little bit. Let me give you some parameters now that are going to really mess with you, okay? Stand up. We'll kind of go with a stand up again. So you can stay still and breathe, okay? You can stay still or breathe, or you can move, but the movement has to be punches or kicks. Doesn't matter to me which one, okay? You can punch and kick, but you have to hold your breath. Okay, so whenever you can't hold your breath any longer, stay still and breathe, okay? So no more walking. I mean, you're gonna walk, but you're punching and kicking, okay? So it's like sparring, right? Or shadow boxing that the boxer used to do, but you have to hold your breath. And then when you can't hold it anymore, I want you to stop. So this is kind of like how most people start sparring when they're beginner. They hold their breath. Go, try it. Yes, start the fight. You can imagine anybody, but you hold your breath. And then the moment you can't hold it anymore, stop, recover, fix yourself. Good. Come around, guys. Come around. Again, remember what our goals are. Our goals aren't to get, the main goal for me is not for you guys to get good at practice, is for you guys to get good at practicing the things that will work in real life for you. When people fight, guys, it happens. You hold your breath. It's not ideal. It happens. So now you can kind of see for a fact how inefficient you are when you fight holding your breath. How long can you fight? It's like, imagine if I could go back and do this when I was really young, doing my boxing, or when I was doing my wrestling, I would have learned so much. I didn't realize how much energy I was wasting not breathing properly. It held me back 50%, if not more. Jill, do you have a question? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I think it's related to what you're saying. I'm feeling frustrated with having to keep stopping and
That's
that I
it.
can't keep going. Yeah.
And so there's a wonderful book, guys. Jill, if you don't, you can email me. But just remember, my email's not working, so it might take me a day to get back to you till it works. But the book is called Flow, guys. If you've never read it, it's a book called Flow, 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 by Mikhail, and it's every letter in the alphabet is in his last name. It's the longest name ever. Somebody, I can post it up for you and take a picture when you send I sent you. It is the most wonderful book about how we get things done by getting in a state of flow. Starting and stopping sucks. This is what this is teaching you too. It really sucks to do this. It's super frustrating, right? But when I started to train like this, my actual wrestling and fighting skills went way up because my body learned how to operate in these states, and it also learned how to correct itself quickly. I could feel when I was in this, when I wasn't in this proper state. Okay. So now let's try flipping it. So now I'm gonna, so again, I'm just trying to throw as much at you and then hopefully you practice this. And Jill, you can do it with your yoga. You can do it with the clients that you teach. Get them to do something without breathing and then give them breathing and let them make their own conclusion, which is bad. It doesn't take long, right, to figure that out. Because as a teacher, you want to give you. I've always liked the teachers that said you check for yourself. I love that because I hate when people present themselves as it's either me or not me. Let me make my decision. And if it's right, I'll let you know. That's it. So I'm presenting it to you guys. I'm going to flip it now, though. So when you're standing still, there's no breathing. When you're punching and kicking, you can breathe all you like. So you hold your breath and now you breathe and see for yourself how difficult it will be. That will also be very difficult as well. It's not right or wrong. We're making evaluations here, right? So I'm flipping it. Now I'm telling you, when you're punching and kicking, hold your breathe. When you're standing still, hold your breath. Now, some small advice before you start. Please don't go so fast, okay? There's not really a person there you're fighting. Don't make it like that. Just because otherwise you're living like a fantasy. Just like slow, medium punches, whatever you, or kicks or elbows, whatever it is. And then because I don't want you to go to excite yourself too much, because if you excite yourself too much, your heart's struggling, right? Um, for those of you that train people, the 12 o'clock time is the most crucial time for the heart. You know that, right? So everybody should know this. For if you're training older people, okay, you always have to be cognizant. At around 12 noon, the heart and the is very susceptible. So we want to be careful the strain you're putting on your heart right now. Okay, so just light sparring stuff with breathing, and then stop and hold your breath. And you can't hold it anymore. So now fighting has to recover you. Now fighting has to recover you. Let's go. Try it on your own. Breathe and punch and kick, slow or medium pace. And then when you feel you're good, stop and hold your breath as long as you can without panic, and then go again. Awesome, guys. Good. Right. Well done. Come close, guys. So any observations? How did it feel? Which did you like better? Like breathing and fighting and then staying still and holding, or vice versa? Which do you find agreed with you?
Moving and breathing was definitely more agreeable. And holding your breath and staying still afterwards was even harder because your heart's pumping and like you just don't want to stay still. You have to keep moving.
Sure, yeah.
I'll tell
I
you.
like
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I like breathing too. Breathing with moving, breathing. It's much
I
better.
was gonna say the same thing. I was gonna say I like in the last one when we were moving and breathing, and I like in the one before when we were standing and breathing. All the ones that involve breathing, I really like those ones.
No, remember, guys, training should show us 50% what to do and 50% what not to do. Okay.
Right.
And for those of you with kids, like some different ages, right? But I know Patrick's got one that's coming its way. So my kids are teenagers now, and it's very hard to tell them what to do now. They don't like it. It's almost, they want to do the opposite. But they're at a critical point where they're trying to figure out their life, and maybe you too now, right? Sometimes we don't know what to do. But so if you're at that place where you're not sure what to do, then try to focus on the things that you don't want to do. Like, what are the jobs that you don't want to do? And then sometimes that process helps you figure out what you want to do. So you can be pulled from either way. Like, as I grew up, I would do any job. I was very agreeable. I would work. I had to pay for my tuition for school, so I was up to any job to pay my bills for school. And then later on, past that, I was like, okay, now what do I want to do for my life? And then that took me a long time to figure out, because so the way I approached it was, what don't I want to do? And then from that process, I found out what I did want to do. And that was really important for me. So you can look at it both ways. So what you found out is what you don't want. You don't want to hold your breath, and you agree with it. And I think most people come to that conclusion. Not everybody. Some people, they die hard fighting that way, right? I have one like this. I fully agree about vegetables. I do. I know they're good for me. And I agree with them now. I agree with them in an hour until I'm about to have my lunch. And then I don't agree with them when they're on my plate. I try, I push them to the side, I wait. And a lot of people agree that water is good for them and that they should. But the moment a trainer says you need to drink 3 liters of water a day, and they're like, they don't agree with it because they don't want to go to the washroom so much, right?
Yeah.
So there are things that we agree with, for whatever reason we don't do. Let's work with some other things now. Let's try it in a different way, right? So we did some fighting. Now, if we had more room, you could do the same thing in a wrestling format. So you kind of did sparring. You could do something on the ground where you're, kind of wrestling. Or tomorrow when we get back to training, you can, if you're a teacher and you're watching, have students train in wrestling, but no breathing. And you'll see they won't last 20 seconds before they're done. And then they rest. And then they rest. And then they wrestle. And then they rest. And then so you can play with these variables with eyes closed, eyes open, breath holds, not breath. Like, do not ignore breathing. Breathing is the most important thing to practice here. This is the message from the top guy. Okay, Michael, that's all he talks about. And if we don't talk about it now, we're not respecting our teachers, and my teacher, all of us. So please, because it's the gateway to the mental and the physical world, we really need to understand that doorway. It's a doorway. We need to be able to be in one room and we need to be able in the other room. If you don't understand breathing, that door is closed. It's not a door. Okay, so breathing bridges the mental, the physical, and it bridges everything, the three of them. So please work on breathing at every chance you can. Get it in, okay? Think of yourself like, if you've ever had Jamaican cooking, they throw spice into everything they can. If there's an opportunity, bam, some pepper. Breakfast, bam, pepper. Like, they're always throwing something on it, right? They all, like Greeks, garlic, everything, garlic, boom, throw some garlic into that. The whole house stinks. Garlic is thrown into everything, right? For you, every chance you can throw a twist on breathing, the better. every chance, okay? Wrestling, fighting, walking, exercising, and watch its effects, okay? So let's try a different one now. So stand up, okay? Let me just mute everybody here. And we'll do as much as we can, just as an idea, and then we'll cut as many. So stand up, right? So I want you to do, so the way it works like this, you're gonna do, stay still and breathe. So stay still and breathe, nice and easy, right? Again, when I say stay still, there is a float, and I really need you guys to understand that. Make sure you allow your body to float, otherwise you cause it anxiety. We don't need that. I want just the ability to float. And then when you're ready, I want you to hold your breath and just do like 5 squats. Basic, if you know, it doesn't matter all the way down, all the way up, just 5 basic squats. And then stay still and breathe again. And fix yourself a little bit, like, of course, because you did 5 squats, something happened. And when you feel good, do it again. And if it felt like you could do more comfortably, add more. I don't want to pick a number. It can be 10. It can be whatever you feel will get you to the point where you've done something, right? So just play with that. So we're doing squats now and seeing how many squats we can do before we hit a panic. Like, we don't want to go panic. We don't want to teach ourselves to panic. We want to teach ourselves to stop just before that, so that we don't build up anxieties. This is important, guys, because when people in athletics push themselves, they say, I'm pushing myself. What they are is aggravating their body, and it's not good. You want to cycle as long as you can comfortably. You want to run till you don't feel, and once you feel uncomfortable, stop. It's not you giving up. It's your body got everything it needs. Think of eating. You need to stop when you feel full. You don't stop when you're stuffed. You stop when you're full, when you feel happy. You don't need to feel like you're never going to eat again. You just need to feel when you're content. You do the same when you're reading. You do the same when you're training. When your body feels content, stop. Do squats. You don't even have to count. You can just do squats till you feel you've had enough. And then breathe and still yourself.
Sorry, Manny, we holding our breath on these squats?
Yes, you are. That's the
That's what I thought. I just
hold
was.
your breath. Yes, that's the good stuff. Remember, you can close your eyes. You can do this with your eyes open. You can do this with your eyes closed. You can do this almost anything. Okay, stop where you are. Just stay still. Just stop where you are. Now we're going to flip it. Okay, so we'll just rest for a little bit. Just breathe yourself. So now we're going to flip it where your squats, you're breathing in and out as you come up. And when you're standing still, you're holding your breath. So when you can't hold your breath anymore, you recover with squats, okay? Again, try to find a happy medium. Still holding, squats, breathing, okay? 30 seconds, not too long, but just try the opposite now and see what the effect is. Remember, guys, try to go down deep. I know it's hard, but try if you need to assist yourself, but try to go deeper if you can. It's really good for your knees. Ten more seconds, 10 more seconds. Awesome. Very good, guys. Come close. How did it feel? How did it feel? Again, was it different or did you come to the same conclusion? Did you like doing squats and breathing and staying still, holding your breath, or vice versa?
For me, Emmanuel, it's so hard to answer the question of better.
Well, yes.
Each one just shows different things.
Yes.
I
Very
have this different experience with holding my breath in the sitting and in with the different exercises. And I noticed that when I hold my breath after exertion, I can calm myself in a way that's really different
good.
than when I calm myself when I'm holding my breath while I'm exerting. And even like there's a big difference in trying to calm myself with the still breath and yeah.
So it's great points, Eric. So I always tell people, I go, I want you to imagine a piece of paper. Now I don't have it, but imagine a piece of paper and you have a line right in the middle. And that line is normal. That's the line that you feel happy. That's your happy line. Okay. So there's not a happy place, a happy line now. So your day can go above it. It can go below it. Okay. Now, your best days of how you feel are when you stay as close as you can to that line. That you go up, but you also come always back to it. So it's like, I go off the line, but I always remember to go back on it. It's not like I start to go off in any direction too far. So if upset is the top and sad is the bottom. So it's like I want to kind of float on that line like this. I don't want to be in the extremes, okay? That's your nicest feeling day. But your biggest growth day will be when you're up and down. So what do they say? When we really get down in the dumps, we learn a lot about ourselves, right? And the same when we get, so in boxing, they used to say, you really don't know the character of the boxer till they're down. That's the bottom, right? So imagine you just got knocked down and now how do you get yourself up, right? And then how do you come up not instantaneously? Like everybody knows who Muhammad Ali is, right? Muhammad Ali, guys, people call him the greatest of all time, but it wasn't because he was he was knocked out, he was hit, he lost the championship 3 times, but every time he lost it, he could get it back. In other words, a loss to him was only halfway down the page. When George Foreman beat by Muhammad Ali, he went into 4 years of the deepest depression. He went all the way down. Okay, you want to make sure that when you're having a bad day, you don't go too far off that line, right? So what you're noticing is some interesting things about what is normal. Like what do you feel happy? And you want to make sure that you can go above it and you can go below it, but you always come back to the middle. You always want to be in that bracket because that's the place where, life just happens. There's good, there's bad, and you stay close to that line. You're not like, oh my God, the whole world's ending and you're way up here. Right? Oh my God. So you got to make sure that you understand that. Does that make sense, Eric? Does that help?
Yeah,
So there's a place, and that place, that middle ground is where you can learn so much about Sistema. It really can teach you a lot. The moment you go off of that, there's not much learning. There's not much learning. You're just surviving. You know what I mean? Like it's not amazing. Like if I'm on my bike and I bring my heart rate to 180 beats per minute, I don't remember what the hell I just did. I don't remember what I just did, right? If it's the same with drinking, if I start drinking so much, there's a point where I don't even know who I am. I don't remember the people I was with or what I said. Don't go there. Like just, you want to
Don't go
make
there.
something to drink and you still know who you are. I want to exercise, but if the teacher says something amazing, I need to make sure I remember it. Like imagine, like at any given time, a great teacher can drop inspiration. And I don't know, I don't plan it. It just comes when it comes, right? Are you ready to hear that? If you're way off, you'll never be able to hear it. You'll miss it all. You'll miss it all. These are the really important things, right? Just something to think about, okay? Now, you could apply everything I just did to push-ups, squats, leg raises. You can apply it to almost anything, guys. It's endless, right? My idea is not to kind of drive you into the ground with these, is to give you some ideas of how to train. And I'll leave you with this idea for a second, okay? Because we have really good examples here. There's an old story, kind of a religious story, but it has some wonderful connections here. So there was a young man who was lost in his life, and he went to the village elder, and so the story goes, that he asked, he says, priest, I don't know what to do with my life. I'm kind of confused. And, the priest wasn't sure either. It was a young man. He wasn't sure. He goes, you know what? There's a guy who lives at the edge of the forest. He's kind of a recluse. He's a guy that just lives on his own. He just stays in his house like a hermit, but he's really wise. And he goes, I have a feeling you need to go on a big journey. And he goes, I'm not sure where though, but maybe this guy can tell you where to go. So the boy was ecstatic. He said, oh my God, I need to go on a journey. Oh my God, he's so happy. And the boy ran, got his stuff, ran to go see the recluse who lives in a house all by himself. He doesn't come out of his house. He knocked on the door. He said, recluse, please come out. I need your advice. The priest told me I need to go on a long journey. And the recluse opened the door and he said, it's funny, I'm on a long journey too.
Yes.
When we're training, and I want you to always remember this, guys, it can be an external journey, it can be an internal journey, okay? But don't ever think that the one inside is not as long as the one outside. Just because somebody went to China, went to the other side of the world, does not mean your journey right in your house is not the same. Okay, so we have two perfect examples in Sistema, two, right? We have Vladimir moves like crazy. He moves so good. It's a beautiful expression of physical Sistema. But Michael is moving just as much, but he stays still.
It's true.
He doesn't even move, guys. There's only one footage I have of him running. I've never seen him even run.
Yeah, no, it doesn't move.
It's walk. That's it. He fights everybody from that. He doesn't do. I've seen him sitting on a chair, guys punching and kicking him, and he is moving inside. He's moving. So remember, you can decide what movement feels comfortable for you. Okay, I move less now. You see footage of me old. I moved all kinds because that's how I felt then. Now I'm just quieter. I'm still moving. It's less, but I'm still moving, and I'm okay with it. That's the trick. Before I felt not moving means I'm no good. Now I don't make that same equation. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Just because I'm standing still, don't think I'm not doing a lot inside. And I want you guys to make sure that you give yourself permission to go deep. It's okay to go deep inside yourself. You're not going to upset anybody, okay? You don't need, this life is not about entertaining people. It's about being yourself, okay? And when you find that's very special. It's special to me, for sure, okay? And I don't know about other people. They want to see everybody do parlor tricks, but I want you to be strong people and be able to find out who you are, okay? So both movements are good. So I love staying still, but I love moving, but I love them both. And they're both very important. And they're both equal value to me, okay? So what you and what I are both equal value. I'm trying to do this. So does that make sense, guys? Does that help you?
Oh, yeah, help a lot.
Very special. Practice this, please. And I'll get some more stuff out to you guys. I'll see you all next Monday. Remember, the videos will be uploaded on the on-demand site on the Fight Club. So on Fight Club new website, the members page, you click on it, all in caps, FC Fight Club,
Captain.
right, FC Sistema in caps, and the videos are the
Caps.
on-demand section, okay?
All right, nice.
Thank you, guys. Have a
Thank
good
Here's
you.
day.
thanks, here's
Bye,
thanks.
everybody.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Thank you, Manny. Bye,
Yeah.
everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good one.
See you guys. See you Friday.
Friday.